Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just wait for a minute. Some are joining still. Just wait for some minute, okay? Yeah. So today we are going to discuss on human and animal welfare in relation to ecosystem and environmental factors. Okay, since we know that since time immemorial, like relationship between human and animal is right from generation to generations. We are following till that, right? So right, people they domesticated the animal for before to like we are also just like animal only. So with the evolutions, with the development, then we are now in the modern stage, right? Before, just like animal, we also eat the raw, as like we know the element stories and all, right? So this is how the relationship between the human and animal was right from generation to generation still now, how it is evolving, right? So today we are going to study about human and animal welfare in relation to ecosystem and environmental factors. So these are the important topic which we are going to study. Okay, human and animal interaction in the ecosystem. That is evolutions, ecosystem, human and animal interactions, conflict in human interest for animal. So evolutions. It is proved that human and animal share common ancestor as for evolution process. This is all of us we know that. Okay. So the existence of very familiar neurological structures in other animal constitute some evidence that they can have same sort of mental state as human. As you all know that like animal we already discussed in the earlier class, they have the feeling, they feel thirst, they feel hungry, they feel pain, everything, right? Just like human. But we, because of our like we are more what to say, we are more this intelligent than them by especially our thinking power. Okay, so because of that we are more superior to them, but otherwise same like the emotions and everything, they have the same feeling like us. Okay, so especially the primate, you can see primate how they are taking care of their children, I mean offspring. And then when any intruder or any, when suppose if anyone is trying to attack, if any predator is trying to attack them, how to defend their this one, especially their this young ones, how they defend, and then even how they defend themselves from any predator and all, right? And then suppose in your this one, even the parrots, you can train them nicely, right? You can train them how to speak, and then how to say name of some person and all. And then same like that, your pups, your puppies and all, you can train them nicely, right? They also, that means they also have the this one, their brain is working. Okay, they have the memory. Like if once if you train, they will never forget. Handshake, if you train them how to do handshake, then they will do every time. Whenever you ask to sit, they will sit. So this is how you know that even they can be, their mental also it is working, right? So they can be trained properly and they can be utilized. Yes, we know that this in this one, this army people and then police and all, they have the this one, the dog, right? So how they are training how to sniff all those this uh, materials which are illegal materials and all. See, you can train them nicely. That means they have the capacity to train them, and also they have the capacity to follow up whatever we are training. Okay, so this is how slowly evolution started. And then they also same thing, animal also are also developing. They are not like the before. Okay, so now they are developing everything. Okay, so this is how with the change, with the time pass, how everything is developing, right? Then ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organism, that is plant, animal, and microbes in conjunctions with the non-living component of their environment interacting as an ecosystem. So everything is either it is non-living or either it is living. There is a correlations between. Okay, so if something is not there, then there will be a problem for the other. So this is how the living system, this one cycling it is going on. Okay, the cycling process is going on. Okay, so anything a problem with one this one component, then there will be problem with the whole cycle. Okay, this is how it is. This thing life is going on. Then ecology deal with various principles with govern relationship between organism and their environment. So organism, we also suppose if there is no soil, what will happen, right? If there is no rainfall, what will happen? If there is no sunshine, what will happen? So there is a correlation between all. Wherever it's existing, there is a correlation between each and every components. Okay, the living organism
Yes, ma'am.
interact with one. Yeah,
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
yeah,
some
yes,
students are
yes.
trying to join.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. This is the big problem. You see, once if I start sharing this slide, there's very much problem. Again and again, I have to. That's why I told you come on time, no? So many of them, see. So, hmm. So after the class, don't just this one disconnect yourself, because I am going to click the this one. What is that? Whoever is in the this thing online, I am going to click the photos. Okay, so that if for future if anything required, then I can send. Don't just this one disconnect yourself. Okay, clear everyone?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Just I will take around 5 minutes later only. So be there online so that I can take the photos. Okay, screenshot. So the living organism interact with one another through their food chain in which one organism consume other. So this is very important. Okay, so right from the small microorganism, and then whatever, even the plants also, the animal will depend on plants, and then so many microorganisms are having habitat to the specific, even if it is a drop of water also, even if it's a drop of soil also, all the living beings are being related with that. Okay, so we have already discussed in the earlier class also. So there is a importance of each and every habitats. There is an importance which is correlated with the existing living beings there, living and then non-living, which are existing in that specific area. Okay, this is how the importance is for each and every components. Okay, then biotic and abiotic. Biotic means those living organism like plants, animal, okay, and microbes, whoever is existing. And abiotic are soil, water, all those things. Okay, so components are regarded as linked together through nutrient cycle and energy flow. So this is now which I have just discussed just now, that there is a interrelationship between abiotic and the biotic. Okay, the solutions of many projects, then environmental problems like oil pollutions, water pollution, etc., need to be addressed, taking into account animal welfare. So as we all know that in this Digboy, you know now where nearest oil station it is in Digboy in Assam, Guwahati. Okay, so from the sea, from those this one water area, from the sea, they are extracting the oil and all. Okay, so how harmful it is for those near living organisms which are existing in that area, you can just imagine. Okay, it is causing pollutions to the water. Okay, and because of the sometimes there is a this one accidental leakage of the oil and all. So how is dangerous for the living creatures which are existing in that area. Also, it may extend to a vast area, okay, of the water body. So thereby, so we should always consider this. Okay, we should always put the solutions and then other option which should be, which can replace those type of project work and all should be there. Okay, but these are all for the benefit of the human only. We never think for the benefit of the animals. Okay, we never think for the benefit of any microorganism. We just think for the benefit of ourselves only. So we are doing all this thing for the benefit of ourselves, right? So we should also think, sometimes we should also think what will affect. So again, what already because of the oil pollution is already there, also the water bodies it is polluting, and then because of the polluting water bodies, what happened, so many microorganisms will be extinct. Some are endangered species also which may extinct. Okay, because of those pollutions made by human, unwanted activities done by the human. So these are need to be concerned. Okay, so especially in the this one in animal welfare, this thing, we have to concern of all these things, which is very alarming factor, you can say. Okay, we need to either replace it, or we need to either dislocate it to other place, so that it won't cause any harm to the living organism which are existing in that area. Then human and animal interactions. So animal welfare is an important prerequisite for environmental protection. So animal welfare, it is also directly or indirectly, it is causing environmental protections also. Okay, the protections of natural habitats of the species, especially wild animal, is indisputable prerequisite for the survival of all living things. So thereby, if we don't conserve them, if we don't take care of them, then one day it will be there that tiger is suddenly extinct from the world. Okay, so many species are there which are very much endangered species. Each and every state, they have their own, so many endangered species are there. And then we also heard that dinosaurs was there, but now it is already extinct, right? So we heard from the story, we heard from the movies and all, that dinosaurs was there, exist, but now there's so many this one, what to say, remains were there. Okay, some people, they find remains in some parts of the country, some parts of the world, but now we can't see. So because of this, one day there will be a conditions that, or some endangered species of animal are totally extinct from this world. Okay, from this one. So thereby we need to concern about it, because we have to keep for the next generations. Okay, then after that, Earth planet is complete ecosystem which include both flora and the fauna. So plants also, animals also, all the living beings are existing in this earth. Okay, so thereby there is a relationship, there is a linkage, and then thereby if any failure of the one component, then it will all hamper to the living cycle of the other this one living creatures. Okay, just why each and every component is, there is the importance, okay, to keep them alive. So human and animal relationship is now mutual interdependent. So we depend on animal. So, and as like that, animal also may depend on us. Okay, it's like if you don't take care, what happen? What will happen? If suppose you think, if there is no human being in this earth, what will happen? Right? If there is no animal in this earth, what will happen? So this is how we are in the interdependent among us. Okay, interactions on the basis upon human as animal and the animal as human. One more trying to join. So this is all about the human and the animal interactions. Okay. Then conflict in human interest for animal. So Serpell in 1986 pointed out that different relationship that humans have with animal can be incompatible. Okay. So this is how he elaborated that the relationship of animal may be so different in nature that it is capable of coexisting. Okay, so what it says is that, so forming affections relationship with pet can conflict with the desire to kill animal for food or for clothing, then pest control purpose, etc. So we keep pets, right? And then we also sometimes we also rear poultry birds and all. So sometimes if we feel that, not everyone, but sometimes we feel to kill those poultry which we are keeping at our home. Like we feel something hesitant. There is a feeling for them, for means to us, that means how to kill that which we are keeping for a long period and all. Right? There is some sentiment feeling is there. So this is how it is describing that there is an affectionate relationship between then your pets, dog and all. Will you be able to kill and eat? I don't think it is possible, right? So this is how the relationship between the human being and animal, but ultimately they will be killed, right? So this is also this one conflict between the human and that animal. Okay, then people can develop a very strong positive relationship with individual animals. So the way we are taking care of our pets, and then the way we are taking care of those wild animals, those wild lovers and all. So this is how the relations between, okay. Millions of animals are used for meat, leather, etc. by people around the world. And then just as human use other natural resources, so same like that, coal we are using. No, none of the animal is using the coal, right? And then so many natural resources are there which are available. So and like only the human, only this human who are utilizing all, even animal itself also, we are the one utilizing for our meat purpose, leather purpose, hide purpose and all, right? So this is how there is a conflict between, okay. Then the similarity between animal use for companion and animal use for companionship and animal use for food, the etc., it is inescapable. So what it says is that the way we, even though we know everything, it is harmful, it is this and that, but ultimately if we take care also, suppose if you keep poultry or if you keep any livestock, we keep for our companionship, but still we are keeping them for our food, we are keeping them for milk purpose, we are keeping them for meat purpose. Ultimately it will be in our hand only, right? And then we are going to use, we are going to utilize this. This is the relationship between, okay. Then conflict between the way we treated different type of animal can be analyzed using cognitive dissonance theory. Okay, so what this theory say is whatever we believe, okay, whatever we believe, suppose an individual belief and the behavior will not be related, okay, it is aligned, okay. What it says is that, so suppose the care we give to the pup, it will be different to the care we'll keep with the cattle or buffalo we keep in our house, right? And then the care we keep with our sheep and goat will be different with the care we keep our pigs. So there is a different affectionate for different type of species, different type of animal, okay. Then domestication in relations to human animal welfare, process of domestication, unconscious and directed selections, and characteristic favoring domestication. So process of domestication, many anthropologists believe that animals are were not initially domesticated for economic reason, okay. Before people domesticated the animal, but it is not for like initially, like doesn't mean for economic purpose, like doesn't, people don't know, like they just keep for their companion, okay. So when that time, now during the olden period and all, less people were there, so and people they used to keep a company of the animal, and then they used to be living together and all, okay. And thereby slowly it started, okay. And then slowly with the evolutions, and then slowly animals are being domesticated. So few suggest a ceremonial or religious basis for domestication. So now, still now, I think in Arunachal and then in some parts of this one, Nagaland also, even in Manipur also, we keep for ceremonial, okay, and then for especially for marriage and all, and then for ritual function and all, we keep the animal, okay. Like in Arunachal and all, suppose if the girl is going to get married, then they used to give those livestock like mithun or else yak and all, and then even small livestock and all, they used to give them as a gift for the bride, right? So this is how slowly, okay, slowly we are started domesticating, and then we started for this. But later on, people, they are very human beings are very intelligent, so they start their thought process working started, okay. And thereby the economic potential was recognized later, and plant domestication emerged with literate societies, okay. So due to the development of the, and then more intelligent people start domesticating and thought of economic purpose, okay. Milk, what is the utility of milk, what is the utility of meat, what is the value of eating meat, all these things, what is the value of eating egg. So with the development they started, okay. Domestications of animal in the recent event in human history, and it's defined as the conditions where the breeding, then care and feeding of animal are more or less controlled by the human. So we human being, we have the, we means animal, they can't say anything, right? But we will feed them what we want. Suppose like we know, because of this one, increase in our brain power, like that. We know what are the different type of feeds should be given. We even categorize like at this period, but animal they in the wild animal they don't have all this, right? But we, because of more development, more modernizations, we know what type of feed should be given. At the starter we have categorized the feed also as a starter, pre-starter, grower, then finisher, and all, right? So we are feeding, and then for the breeding season and all, we have to do flushing and all, right? So we are the one who are designing for their feed, what type of feed should be given to them also. Okay, so this is how, because of the development, because of more scientific knowledge coming up, so we are deciding, and then what type of care should be given, even for the space also, everything we are now monitoring, right? We are everything we are monitoring for the animal. Okay, so this is how, because of more development, and we are controlling even for the breeding also. Suppose if we don't want to breed them during this time, we will control them, right? And then if we want to do breeding within a specific period also, we go for winning, and then we go for AI and all. So this is how, because of development, how we are controlling the animal, right? So this is how the human, they are controlling animal, and then they are superior to them. Okay, so AI and all, we can, that is artificial insemination we are doing as per our desire and all. Okay, and then breed also we are selecting as per our desire. Within the species also we are selecting again exotic breed, indigenous breed, and then crossbreed and all. This is how we are controlling the animal. Okay, because of the more development. Then domestication involves some biological change, morphology, physiological, and behavior in the animal. So as we all know, because of domestication, before the animal are very wild, we can't even will be able to catch them, right? See, now because of domestication, they become docile. You can tempt them easily, and then you can teach them at what time you have to come for. You have to enter the set, and then where you have to go for grazing and all. Everything you are training. So because of this, even for them also, because of this, what happened? Even their physiological behavior, everything changed. Okay, this is all controlled by the human being. Okay, this is what it says. The process of domestications of the livestock. Unconscious and directed selections. Darwin proposed that domestic animal were modified through unconscious selections long before man selected a specific character. Okay. Then change in the population occurred because men preserved the most useful animal or pleasing to him and destroy or neglected that other without any conscious intentions at alter the stock. Selections is given directions when men decided for a specific object and direct the improvement of his animal along this line. So we are doing, right. So are we for domestication and all? So are we domesticating deer or any other livestock? No, right. We are domesticating which will benefit to us, like cattle, then buffalo, sheep and goat, pig, poultry. So many animals are there in wild, but we are selecting. Why? Because which is our objective, which is more distinct to us, no more benefit to us, right? We are selecting them, and also from them also again we are selecting again. This is the egg type. This is the milk breed. This is the drought breed. This is a dual purpose. And then for pig also we are again selecting. This is for bacon purpose. This is for lard purpose. Okay, right? As per our objective we are selecting. As per our desire we are selecting. So this is how man unconscious and directed selections of the animal, which is controlled all by human being. Okay, this is how it is working. Seeing only for our benefit only, you can say, for milk purpose, for egg purpose, and then even we are selecting in the egg also white egg, then brown egg and all. Okay, so this is all as per our desire we are selecting. Okay, then characteristic favoring domestication. The progenitor of the domestic species probably do not possess all the indicated character, but it is unlikely that the species with all the unfavorable characteristic can be domesticated successfully. So we are seeing only which will benefit to us. Okay, and then other undesirable character we will just discard. Okay, suppose if you are rearing a cow, we are rearing cow for milk purpose mainly, right? And then hardly we go in, but in the northeastern we are also rearing for the meat purpose. But we see in the generally we see only for milk purpose. Suppose if the cow started decreasing the milk production, we will discard it. In the books also it is written that after 5-6 years, when it up to 7 years, you can retain it, but after that you need to discard. Same like for the male also, as long as they are young, and then they can produce the semen or the progeny this thing properly, then you will retain them. After that, you are going to discard. This is as per our will, right? As per the human will, we are this one running, especially controlling the animal. Okay, so this is how we are, how much this one we are controlling the animal. Then species which originally possess many unfavorable characteristics may tend to develop more favorable one under selection pressure of domestication. So if suppose indigenous breed, we say indigenous breed are not producing good amount of milk, okay, and then the milk compositions or the milk nutrients. So for that, what we go for? We go for crossbreeding, that is using those exotic breed and all. So in order to increase the milk production. Same like that for birds also. In order to increase the egg productions, we used to go for this one crossbreeding and all. So this is all, that is also under pressure, right? And then under pressure, we are doing everything. What is that? Controlling the weaning. And then like in case of pig, up to 56 days only, you are keeping a mother and the sow. Okay, sow and the offspring, and then the same like that for each and every animal, we are keeping specific timing, and then after that you go for breeding, and then what are the advantage of this? Everything we are controlling, right? So everything is under pressure. So you just think, as per the natural behavior, animal is not going to maintain the physiological characteristics like this, right? But we are pressuring them, we are keeping them domestication, and then after that we are pressuring, we are controlling or the how this one as per the animal welfare view, you just see how unjustifying we are doing to the living creatures who can't speak, right? If we do to the human being, one day it will be getting one tight slap, right? So you just think like those who can't speak of their own right, how much pressure we are giving to them, and then how much, and on top of that, we are utilizing only for our own purpose, right? This is how inhumanely we are handling, especially in view of the welfare of the animal. Okay, we are studying this. At the same time, we are also studying how to control everything, right? Okay, so being a veteran, we should be both sides. Okay, then environmental factors. So direct effect of high temperature of animal, direct effect of high humidity on animal, direct effect of solar radiation on animal, direct effect of day length of light on animal, then indirect effect of climate on animal. So this is how the environment are affecting. Okay, direct effect of high temperature on animals. So how, when the temperature is very high, how it affects, you see. Regular exposure of animal to high temperature cause rise in the rectal temperatures and decline in fig intake, and increase in water intake and decrease in productions of milk, changes in the milk compositions, reduction in growth, and even loss of the body weight. So this is how high temperatures affecting the animal, right? It will decrease the feed intake, then rectal temperature will be increased. If rectal temperature will increase, respiration rate also will be increasing. Okay, so everything, all the physiological parameter will be increasing because of the high temperature, and thereby, since all the physiological parameter is increasing, because which is directly or indirectly correlated, so thereby all the function will be deviations, or there will be variation in the functions, body functions, like increase of water intake, and then decrease in the milk productions, and then there will be so overall milk compositions will be changed, and then reduction in growth and even loss of the body weight will be seen. Okay, then animal graze on and eat during less during daylight in summer and tend to eat more during night. So because of that, animal, because of the change in the physiological parameter, thereby animal also subsequently they are adapting. Okay, so thereby, in order to cope up with that changed environment, they will also change their physiological functions, like they will start this one grazing during daylight less. Okay, and then during nighttime more. Okay, so this is how they are changing. And then livestock in tropical countries are smaller at birth and grow slowly. So like in our tropical country, like our Indian conditions. Okay, so here you can see when you exotic breed, most of the exotic breed, either in pig, either in cattle, they are well built, right? Their body weight is very high, and as comparative to our Indian condition. Okay, and then they grow very fast. So this is how differentiations between the tropical and then the other region. Okay, so this is how the change you will be seeing. So we say why we are going for exotic breed, because they attain more body weight, then they grow fast. Okay, so and then when you compare to our indigenous, they are small in size, even though they are resistant to disease. Okay, in case of exotic breed, they are prone to disease, but in case of indigenous breed, they are resistant to disease. So many factors are there. Okay, so because of the climatic conditions also, which affect the reproduction and production parameter of the animal. Okay, then during summer, buffalo comes into heat mostly during cooler night period, and heat period are shorter and feebler. Feebler means like less. Okay, like lack of physical strength due to heat. Okay, this is how you will be seeing. So in case of buffalo, there is a special management during summer is there. Okay, I think you have studied in your unit 1, like special management should be done during summer. Why? Because the sperm concentration is also very low, and sometimes superior quality of sperm will not be seen. Okay, so thereby it is always advised special management, like put them in a shed, give frequent water, and then put them under wallowing, and then always like we should give comfortable like fodders and all. We should always supply water, should be always supply. Then you should reduce the concentrate diet and all, always during the summertime. This is special management for buffalo. Okay, which is always advised, especially for those farmers who rear buffaloes. Okay, buffalo farming, you can say. Then comes the direct effect of high humidity on animals. So in combinations with the high temperature, high humidity cause depression in feed intake, consequent reduction in productions by animals. So same like the high temperature, if the humidity is also very high, so it will cause less feed intake, low appetite, and then after that, consequently, if it is low appetite, then what will happen? Low intake of the feed, and thereby it will cause effect to the productions. This is how high humidity means cost to the animal. Okay. Then comes the direct effect of solar radiation on animal. So affects skin causing sunburn, skin cancer, and other photosensitized disorder. So and then affect growth, production, and reproduction. Then an animal having light coat with glossy textures are less affected by solar radiations. And then standing animal absorb less solar radiation than those of lying animals. So this is how solar radiation affect the animal. So you can see here, we also advise while construction of this animal house and all, we advise that the roof material should be painted with white color. Okay, white, and then it should not be black color. Why? Because black color absorbs more heat. Because of that, we always advise to go for light color, especially the rooftop of the animal set. Okay, and thereby it is known factor that those which are having light coat, they absorb more less heat than those having the dark coat. So as you already saw that animal which having lighter coat will absorb less heat than those animal which are having. Okay, and then like those animals which are standing will absorb less solar radiations than those lying down. You know, in lying, you are exposing the whole. Okay, you just imagine how cattle and all, they lie down, right? And then when they stand up, they used to expose only the rump region, right? Back region, you can say, but others it is in the shadow. So thereby, the posture of the animal also, when they lie down, they used to expose more to the solar radiations. Okay, when they stand, they expose less. So this is how the posture of the animal also affected by the solar radiations. Okay. Then direct effect of length of daylight on animals. So day length is likely to affect reproductions in animals. Then photo period mechanism control initiations of the breeding cycle in some domestic animal like sheep. Then the conception rate of buffalo tend to higher during shorter daylight season and vice versa. So you can see here, like some of the animal, they are very much dependent on the daylight. And in case of laying chicken also, not only in animal, even in the laying bird also, layers also, like this light which help in the reproduction parameter of the layer bird. Okay, so after through the pineal gland and all, it will affect, and thereby it will affect the other secretions of the hormone, and thereby it will help in the laying process. So this is how light day length of the light is affecting the reproduction system of the livestock. Okay, then indirect effect of climate is feed and fodder. Then animal parasite, animal disease. As we all know that parasites, especially during the rainy season, like lots of this one parasite infestation will happen, right? And then during the cold season, you will see most of the parvovirus infection in dog. You will see during the winter season. Okay, you go to clinic when you will be in the internship also, and if you have time, you can go and visit your your state clinic. You'll see most of the case of parvovirus infection will be during the winter season. Same like that, so many parasitic disease will be especially during the rainy season. Okay, and then disease, some of the disease, especially during the summertime, you will see those maggot infestation and all. Why? Because lots of flies are there, and then if you don't clean up properly the farm, then those flies will seed, and then maggot infestation will be there. So this is how indirectly the climate affect the animal. Okay, and then feed and fodders also. So abundant feeds are available during the rainy season, and then thereby during the rainy season the animal will graze more, and then thereby sometime what happened, because of those parasites, eggs and all, and then parasite this one, they will with the this fodders, they will ingest it, and then so many vectors are there, like snail, and then so many then even this arthropods are there, so accidentally they may ingest with the fodders, and then they will go into the animal, then animal may act as a host, and then thereby through fecal sample it will cycle, it will transfer. Okay, so thereby the cycle will go on like this. So this is how feed and fodders also affect, and also animal parasites and then disease condition also affect by different climate and different season of the year. Clear, everyone? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Can someone summarize and tell about today's topic? How the relationship between the human and the animal, and then the this one environmental conditions. Yes, anyone can summarize and tell? Sleeping or what? All of you? Sleeping or what? Now right time to sleep, right? Just wait for some time. I'll just take the this one picture. If anyone is having problem, you can message me also. Okay, like someone has messaged me regarding the ID card issues of the dog owner, and then what is that feeders and all. So you can just go through it, because some people, I told you na, there may be case of police also, like some they may not want to feed the animal nearby their house, and also there for that reason they used to issue a card, so that those people, those who are taking care of the animal, they won't create any problem. Okay, they can just show them the card, and then thereby there will be escape from those type of situations, unwanted situation. Okay, and then if you people also, if anyone is desire to go for those type of program, you can or you can always take up in your state. Okay, you can start doing all those things by just filling up some form, and then by the following the guidelines, you can also start up those type of program. In Tripura also, I think we have Pausam or something like that. In Manipur also we have, but I don't have any idea about Nagaland, whether they are having any shelter house or any those this what to say organization and all, which is running especially for the welfare of stray dogs and all. So you can always take up. Okay, and everyone means you can take part on this type of program. Okay, for the especially for the welfare of those animals who can't speak of their own rights. Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. If anyone is having any problem, you can contact me. Who is this just now joining? Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you,
I'll
ma'am.
share you this. I will share you this PPT. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.